So let's make a crosshair texture for a weapon, or just any weapon that we're going to implement. Now, this is just going to be really simple, really quick, just so that you know how to set it up and how to add to our current existing texture sheet. I mean, you can spend time making your crosshair look all cool and stuff. But I'm a programmer, so I want to spend my time programming. So this is just how I go and make some programmer assets, just to fill in the blank, just to fill in the void, just so I know things are working. Alright, so first thing to do is we open up Photoshop. And if you remember from our previous tutorial, we've already made this texture that already has these bullets here. And you'll see that just on alpha plane. And that's what we use for our HUD at the moment, just to show ammo count. Now you might have made something different, or you might have followed along. Just as long as you have some, that's good. Now we're going to be adding to this texture sheet, that way we can save memory and just makes things easier. It's all good. So this is how I want to make my crosshair texture. Really simple, really quick, really easy, and it's still precise. So the first thing I'm going to do is, it doesn't really matter where, because I can always reposition my layers. I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to change my rulers to pixels. If you don't have your rulers up, you can go View, Rulers, and then I'm just going to drag a ruler to an even number. 300 is good, and that's, I don't know if that's exactly on 300, so I'm going to open up my info pane, which is F8 or window info, and when you drag a layer or a guide from one of the rulers, you'll see on the right X says 300. Good. Now I'm going to drag another one down to another even number. It's 200. 200 is good. Cool. So I'm just going to pick a random size because I can always scale over there. As I said, I don't really care if my crosshair looks that good. It's just something to put in game. So I'm going to go with 50 pixels. That sounds okay, because this is pretty big, and that's 60 wide. So I'm just going to go with 50. And so that'll be 350. I have to line this right one up. And this one starts at 200, so I'm going to go down to 250. 250. There we go. Now, most crosshairs are just 2 bars. That works, but I'm just going to do something a little bit more, I don't know, different, I guess, but not too much. Just something really, really simple. You know, probably it's a bad idea to make. Oh, what I'm about to make. I'm just going to make a circle with 2 lines in it. Might be a little bit distracting, but as I said, hey, I'm a programmer. I can do whatever I want art-wise. I'll have somebody else redo the art for me. Now, if you're a programmer and an artist, more power to you, but I'm not. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this ellipse tool here, and I'm just going to create or click here on my new layer, and I'm just going to drag to this and have it snap. And that circle now has a diameter of exactly 50 pixels and works just fine. Cool, very cool, very cool. And I don't want my crosshair to be completely white, so I'm going to go ahead and I want to say I want a 3 pixel circle radius. So I'm just going to put a guide on 303, and there we go. If you're having trouble getting your guide to be exactly on what you want, you might want to zoom in so that the snapping doesn't take over and cause it to be really hard to get exactly where you want. But for me, it's working just fine. So 350 minus 3 is 347. I'm going to get that lined up right on there. There we go. This is 250, so minus 3 is 247. There's probably a better way to do this. Probably you would just copy this layer and scale it down by an exact percentage, but whatever. I'm not a Photoshop guru. So I'm going to go ahead and draw another rectangle up in here. And it looks white, so I'm going to change the color to black. And that's not right. I must have messed up on my positioning. This guide is not at 247. It is at 247. And that's at 250. That's only 3 pixels. What's this one at? This is at 200. Well, I should be at 203. Why do those two guides look way different? That's because this top guide is at 201. Alright. So that's why this one's a little bit Move that to 251. This to 248. That's why you should double check your guide positions to make sure they're right. I'm getting a weird snapping thing, so here I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more. So we're on 258. Because that's 201, this is now have to be 204. Go ahead and delete this new circle. Alright, but this thing is still 50 pixels because I made the circle holding shift and that makes a perfect circle. So at least we got that right. So I'm gonna go ahead using these inner guides here. It still doesn't look right. This one's at what? This one is at 201. This one's at 204. Okay. Whatever. I'm gonna change this to black. Okay, that's not lined up, so I'm just gonna do it manually. I'll use the arrow keys. There, it's perfect. Whatever. Okay, so I'm now gonna go make a guide, and I'm gonna, because these are layers, the guides will snap to exactly the center of these layers. So I could go ahead and make 2 cross guides, and these will be perfectly centered with these layers. So then I'm going to go grab my line tool, and I'm just going to drag a line top to bottom, and it starts out as black, so I'm just going to change this to white. There we go. I'm going to drag this over here. There we go. If we zoom out, I still can't really see it because the guides are in the way. So I'm just going to move these cross cubes out of the way and unselect it. Oh, works for me. It's a crosshair. Cool. So now that we got that going on, I'm going to go ahead and merge all these layers so it's just one shape. And then I'm going to get rid of all these guides because these guides are no longer needed. You can do that by just clicking, dragging, and dragging them off to the side by 2 on the rulers. Be there. There might be a clear guides button as well. Clear guides, but if you have already existing guides, that would clear them too. So you probably shouldn't, unless those are the only guides you have on your screen, then you can go ahead and clear them. Now I'm going to go ahead and drag another guide right on to 70. I believe that's where this ammo thing ended. Sure, why not 70? And I'm just going to snap this to the top. That way it's just easier to organize, just like that. And I'm going to drag the guide to the bottom, and that should be at 50. There we go, 50. So we've already established our width is 50 and our height is 50, so that's all we need. And so let's just get the pixel coordinates of this, and this is 70 to the left, and at 0y. So that's our top left. Go ahead and write that down somewhere. I'm just going to open up. Pretty easy to remember, but for those of you who have trouble remembering things like that, sometimes I can't. I'm just going to go ahead and top left is x equals 70 and y equals 0. And because our texture coordinates in Unreal, you go x, y, and then width and height. It is 50 units wide, and it is 50 units tall. Alright, so that's what we need to know for our texture coordinates. So we can go ahead and save this PSD out over the old one. Alright, so you're going to notice a cut there. That's because I forgot to tell you something later on that I found out I forgot to do. So, after you have all that, you're going to have to select your layers, or select everything in your layers that you currently have by holding down Control and then clicking the little thumbnail next to crosshair, and then Shift and then clicking one next to Ammo BG. Now select both. In my Photoshop, you'll see that I have an extra white square layer, but that's not part of this tutorial, so don't worry about that. And then you want to go in your channels box and you want to delete your current alpha, just dragging it to the trash can or clicking the trash can. And then you want to re-click this mask thing. If you don't do that, your crosshair is not going to be alphaed correctly, and you'll have a problem. Now, another thing I just realized, if
if you select your thumbnail, and you'll see that depending on how you made your crosshair, apparently I did the same thing. If you select it, it selects the entire circle, but you only want this white part. So in order to fix that, you go ahead and use a magic wand, go ahead and click that black part, and just select if you need to select multiple stuff, and you hit delete. And you'll see that it kind of makes your middle line a little bit thinner. So I'm just going to go ahead and go back, and I want to drag another layer right onto that. Hopefully it snaps back on. Just going to drag another line straight down. Alright, and my crosshair is rebuilt. Now I can control click it, and then I'll select I'll just select the white part instead of all this other stuff. So there you go. And make sure you create an alpha for that. I'm going to fix mine. Go ahead and boom, that's my alpha. Perfect. Now I can save this out, and now I'll continue the rest of the tutorial.
And now we can open up our editor. Scripts are outdated. I made some changes. Don't worry, you shouldn't be seeing the screen. And if you do, rebuild it. You shouldn't have any problems. So this is going to load. And apparently I have to compile some shaders that I forgot about. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video for now. Okay, so now that my Unreal is loaded, I already navigated to my package that I'm using to hold all my UI stuff, which is HTUI for me. Your package could be named whatever you want. We've already been through this before. Now, where it says, or it shows my texture for my HUD, it just shows bullets. I need to re-import my new texture so that it will update with my new crosshair on it. I'm just going to import my Photoshop file, and I'm just going to put this in textures, same name, so all looks good. Change my LOD group to UI, and ooh, there's new bitmap settings in March build that I haven't seen before. Cool. So let's go hit OK, and I just want to say it's already existing, so we replace it. And look, there's my crosshair right there. Boom. And we're good. In fact, I could have probably opened it and clicked re-import. So that's another thing. I didn't see that now. And there's that compressed nail button. I don't remember if those were there before. Huh. What do you know? What do you know? What do you know? Alright, so now that we have that, I'm just going to save my package. And I'm going to right click this and copy my full name to clipboard. And I know that little notepad file is using to keep texture coordinates. So I'm going to paste that right in there. Just so I have it there for later. I'm going to go back to the code. And that's how you make a crosshair. And put it onto your old texture map. And so now you can close this tutorial and go back to where you left off. Happy developing.